Hey guys, so we're here with Jen Bender in New York. She is part of the group from Broadway in South Africa. So why don't you tell everybody what you guys do?
Okay, so Broadway in South Africa is a nonprofit organization that was founded last year in 2008. And basically, my friends who are all Broadway performers and directors and choreographers, we sit around a lot and say, I wish we could do something good in the world. But instead of going off and training in some new skill or joining the Peace Corps, we all said, well, what can we do with what we already have, which is working on Broadway, being artists, being performers, working with kids. So we decided to just mobilize the group of us who wanted to do something, and we started this group Broadway in South Africa. And in January did our first trip down there where we went for 3 weeks and worked with lots of kids, teaching arts programs and things like that. But I should go back and say our executive director, Sean Bradford, and Zach Bandler, the two executive directors, were in an a cappella group when they were at Northwestern University, and they went on a trip with the a cappella group to South Africa, and that was the first of what sort of became the foundation for this trip. They went and did this thing called the Cape Town Project, and it was a similar thing in that it was a group of artists. They went down, they performed, they worked with kids, but then it was so great, so successful in Africa, but also so fulfilling for them that they went back 2 years later and did it again. Now Sean is in the company The Lion King, and I'm the resident director there. So Sean and I met and we're talking about this project and decided to amp it up into Broadway in South Africa. So now instead of an a cappella group, we've opened it up to people from all the Broadway shows to go down and work with kids down there. And we're also setting up programs in New York too, so that people who want to be involved, even if they can't take 3 weeks off to go to Africa, which most people can't, there are opportunities for them to volunteer here.
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to ask, was how people can get involved if they want to get involved, whether they're performers or whether they're just wanting to do like financial donations, do whatever they can kind of thing.
Oh, we have a million ways to get involved. Financial is definitely the biggest one because it's a new nonprofit, and you know, we're really starting at grassroots from the ground up. So people donating even $10 online is huge. We have a Facebook page and a website, BroadwayInSouthAfrica.com, BroadwayInSouthAfrica.com. So people can go there and donate. And again, you know, $10 is great. Like if all my Facebook friends gave $10, we'd have a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
So people can donate for sure. We do a lot of events, like we do a big concert in October at Symphony Space. This year it's happening October 5th.
Okay.
And we're doing another concert at Joe's Pub in November, and a big holiday party at the Minskoff Theater in December. And all of those are fundraisers, but also just raising awareness for what we do. So people who aren't in the business but maybe want to volunteer for those they can, you know, all of this is on the website. And then artists who want to get involved, they can perform at these concerts, they can come to these events. We are always looking for people to go on the trips. But also we're setting up some programs with schools in New York. We're going to start a program with a playwriting class in Brooklyn where we've got artists who can come and volunteer and work with kids. And we've got a whole lot of things like that in the works. And again, we're just coming up on our 1-year anniversary of being in existence at all.
Nice.
So all of the stuff is slowly developing, but we're really laying the groundwork so that for the next few years we've got a ton of things for people to do.
Yeah, because before looking at it, I wouldn't have guessed that you guys have only been around for a year.
Yeah, I feel like it was May of last year that Sean came and said, hey, we sort of want to do this thing, and do you want to be involved? And I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember, I feel like it was about May of last year that we even started having these conversations. And then we did this huge concert in October, and then we went on the trip in January. So we did a lot. You know, and that all involved, there was preparations for just that trip, but then there was also, you know, making it, you know, an official 501c3 and going through all that paperwork and get our own board of directors. So that's like a full-time job too, just
that's
the legal end of that stuff.
Hard pulling that all together.
Yeah, but you know, we're multitaskers.
Nice.
So we're getting it done. Yeah, but all that stuff's done. It feels like we've been around much longer.
Yeah.
Just because we've done a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah, because it seems like I've been hearing about it for a while, but I guess now that I think about it, and when I checked on the website, it was only October. The first big concert was probably the first time I'd heard about it and started looking it up.
But already we're planning for the next big concert, which I'm so excited about. It's going to be so good.
Which too, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same thing for those of you who didn't know about it last time. It's the whole idea of the concert. I mean, first of all, it's to raise awareness so people know who we are and what we do and what the project's about and what the organization's about. but we got letters and essays written by kids at Teotihuaca School in Johannesburg. And then we brought the letters back, and I asked a bunch of composers to write original songs based on these letters.
Really?
So everything on the concert was a world premiere that was based specifically on stories and essays written by these kids at one of the schools that we work at. So all these composers wrote these amazing songs, and they were incredible. Like Michael John LaCusa and Jeff Blumenkrantz and Jeremy Schoenfeld and Georgia Stitt, like these amazing composers who wrote these world premieres, and then I got great, amazing Broadway people to sing the songs. And then when we went back to Johannesburg, we played recordings of some of these songs for the kids who wrote the essays.
Really?
Which was amazing. So they got to hear these songs. They didn't even know the essays were being made into songs.
Wow.
They just wrote these essays. And I mean, by essays, I mean, they were like half a page of, like, my name is this, and I live on this street, and I like to play soccer. They were like really basic type essays, but they got made into these songs, which were really beautiful. So this year we're doing the same idea, except that instead of just getting essays, we taught a playwriting workshop. When we were down there in, we did an arts workshop outside of Cape Town in Guguletu Township. And so we're actually going to use the things from the playwriting class that we taught as the foundation. So it's the same idea, but it's a different group of kids and a different set of source material. So we're going to do the same thing where all these world premieres and great singers sing the songs, and
that'll be fun.
It's all orchestrated specifically for the concert. So I can't wait. It's October 5th, Symphony Space.
I might just have to come down.
It's going to be so great. October 5th at Symphony Space.
You heard that.
Everybody be there. Symphonyspace.org. It's going to be, oh, I'm so excited because it was so great last year.
Yeah. And
this time we're going to show, like, you know, we have video packages of us actually being down there and working with the kids, and we'll have some pictures and video of the kids that we met who wrote the essays for the songs, and there's just a lot of good stuff happening.
Cool.
So it's going to be really good.
So what was your favorite moment about being down there in South Africa? Like, what kind of things did you, like you talked about doing playwriting classes. What other kind of things did you do with the kids? And did you meet any kids that really, you know, stuck out for you? And
absolutely. I mean, I have to say, I probably cried every single day I was down there for a completely different reason every day. Like, there'd be a day that I was just so happy to see all these kids come together and sing that I would just sob out of joy. And then there'd be another day that I'd learn some kid's story about how, you know, his parents had both died and he was raising his 3 younger siblings, and I would just sob again, and this time out of, you know, sadness for these kids. But it was such an emotional trip. Every single day I had that kind of response about something. Yeah, I would love to say, oh, all the kids were equally great, but there are always kids who stick out. And there's this one little girl named Snatemba who we're all obsessed with. And we call her South Africa's next top model. She's 7. She's the most beautiful girl. She doesn't speak much English, but she just has this way of connecting with people. She's really special, so we started a Facebook page for her.
I think I've seen that.
So you can look up Snatemba on Facebook. But there were definitely really special kids. I mean, I can think of probably 7 or 8 kids who really stuck out, either because they were so talented or so open and just connected with us. There was always something really special about a few of them. And down the road, I don't know how soon this is going to happen, but eventually we want to have an exchange program where we can bring some of those kids back for a few weeks.
Oh, wow.
And have them live with us. And obviously there are a lot of sort of legal barriers to get over in terms of making that happen. But that's definitely a goal of ours as soon as possible, because there were already kids down there that we thought, particularly kids who were like 13, which was on the high end of the age range we worked with, because the kids were generally like 8 to 13. Snatemba was really young at 7.
Okay.
But 13 is an age where we really want to show them sort of what more of the world could be like for them.
Yeah.
So there are a few of them that we really, really want to keep up with.
That's awesome.
There were some really, really special ones. They were all great, though. I mean, we couldn't have asked for better kids. Who were just so excited to be there, especially the arts program we did in Guguletu. We had sort of an audition process, but it's not audition like show up and sing your best 16 bars and we'll keep you or cut you. I mean, the audition was basically, they were given some things to do, and it was just about, were they game, were they excited, were they passionate? It wasn't about how well they sang, it was about sort of how engaged they were to be part of this program. So everyone who was at that arts workshop, everyone was just so excited to be there. That's why they got in. And we had 60 kids, and then we also had, every day, more and more kids would show up.
Really?
Like, one of the kids would come, and they, you know, they'd all walk or get dropped off in a bus. So one of the kids would come the first day, and then maybe the next day, like, his sister would come along.